Morning, YouTube. So, been a couple of weeks since we did this, and a little bit of change of direction today. Weather's halfway decent. I have some other stuff I'd like to do that's not in the garage. What I got is, and I've been wanting to do this for a long time. I have just a regular 5x9, I think, utility trailer. Works great. It's a little bought-in trailer. I've always wanted it to be a dump trailer. Doesn't make sense for me to really own a complete dump trailer. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to build a pivoting tongue on it, and we're going to keep this super cheap, super simple. It can be removable, not really modifying the structure of the trailer for some of those out there that get all weird about that. I've built trailers in the past. I do know what I'm doing, but this is supposed to be just kind of a down and dirty. Really, if I was going to get started early in the morning, this could probably be a one-day thing. Couple different ways we're going to lift it. We're going to rob the winch off of the cherry picker, and that way it can pin on and off, and I can just throw the winch on and the battery on when I want to use the trailer, or I can have it on the cherry picker when I need it. So engine hoist. So yeah, we're gonna get started. We'll go through building some of the brackets. You might see me working a little bit on the cherry picker also, just because I'm bouncing back and forth. So yeah, let's go do this. All right, here we are with my high-tech cardboard CAD table. So what we have is just a regular utility trailer with your regular tongue on it and your regular ball hitch. The plan is to put a 3x3 square tube that pivots underneath. It'll run underneath the hitch. It will have a ball on it, and then it will have its own hitch here to reconnect to the vehicle. So in theory, I should be able to release the hitch and have it pivot right here. We'll have a winch that pins on here that can go back and forth to our hoist. Cable will go up and over, come back, connect to the bottom of the trailer. Granted, trailer's pretty low. It's not going to be the ultimate pivot because in theory, we'd really like it to pivot here, but it's not going to pivot here until this touches the ground. This may get a set of casters right here so that when it does touch the ground, it can roll back and forth. Overall, it's going to help with two things. One, hauling some debris, which what I do, and sometimes when I want to load my riding lawnmower, my trailer ramp tailgate isn't, it's too steep and the mower drags. So by able to tilt this up a little bit, I'll be able to drive the mower up into it and then lower it back down. So stick with me. It'll make more sense as we're doing it. All right, a little bit of a delay there. I was working on some stuff and then the dog decided to disappear. So I had to go chase her down through the neighborhood. So got a bunch of pieces cut out. There's still some full-size pieces. I dug a bunch of scrap out that I wanted to try to use up. So probably design this a little different if I was just trying to make it and use all new steel, but I'm just trying to use the little bits and pieces I got. So ATV winch, it's got 2 bolts in the bottom. It'll get a cross piece and it will get set up like that, and then it will slide into this with a pin, and I'll be able to take it off and switch it between the back of the cherry picker and the tongue on the trailer. So we'll build a few more here and just keep putting some clips together. There it is, interchangeable between the lift and the trailer. Okay, I'm going to work on the battery box. A couple of 90-degree brackets. I have no idea where they came from, but they made it into the scrap pile. We'll go like that. End up welding a piece underneath. That'll go underneath those plates, and it'll have a post on it where it slides into. another receiver pocket. It'll end up going like this. The battery will be on top of it, and I'll be able to pull the pin, put the battery on the trailer, or put it right onto the engine lift, the engine hoist. So we'll get that all tacked up and we'll let you see that. That's the beauty of a sloppy vise. You can be close and it'll pull it where it needs to go. Okay, here is the pieces we built today. This is the winch mount and the receiver to go on the trailer tongue. This is the battery mount and the receiver that will go on the trailer tongue also. Here's the hitch ball. It's going to go on the tongue for our pivot. That'll make sense later when it gets welded into the top of the tongue because there's no place to actually bolt it. We're going to grab the trailer roller and let's bring the trailer around. So we can also put our battery in there, and that's the battery mount we put on there. We'll be able to use it. And our winch mount for up there for our forklift later. Actually, this roller I built for my barbecue and made an adapter for the trailer because it works pretty good. Good morning. January 1st, 2024. Looks like the weather's going to behave. We lost some video footage yesterday, and we may be reinventing the wheel here. I might build a dump linkage. I'm wanting to use the hoist here to lift this thing up in the air and just see what it's going to be like once it's pivoting on the rear bumper, basically. So we'll get that up in the air and figure that out, and then we're going to drill a hole in the 3x3 that I think is 3/16, but it's an old basketball hoop that I built for the kids years ago. What I need to check and see is if it's 3/16. If it's 1/8 inch, we'll have to go to plan B. I'm not sure what that is yet. So that's what 4 foot of lift is going to look like. So we may go a little more than that. I'd like to go a little steeper dump, but we're just going to play it by ear. The back is touching the ground. Again, we'll put some casters back there just so if you have to pull forward from under your load, it won't be the end of the world. Well, so much for using the basketball hoop. It's 1/8 inch. So I had this piece of 3/16 3x3 that's 4 foot long, and I ran down to the scrap pile and grabbed another one that's 4 foot long, and another old, they're pallets that we get attachments on that get thrown in the junk pile that I just cobbled onto. We're gonna have to splice the tongue together. Not my ideal situation, but again, this is a scrap metal project, not a build it 100% right with new steel project. So we're gonna give it a go. All right, there it is. 30 minutes on the chop saw, cutting up that scrap metal, and now I got, a couple $100 worth of steel. I didn't really want to splice that tongue, but I'm not too worried about it. Again, this is a super lightweight trailer, and that tongue's going to be overkill anyways, so we'll make it plenty strong. I almost forgot to film this. I clamped the two pieces I'm splicing together, cut them at an angle, and I'm just using another piece of my clamps to hold it steady. We'll get her tacked up and then welded together. Okay. There's the new tongue. That'll go on the truck. The original ball receiver should catch onto that, or the hitch. And then we'll gusset where we welded it together, more than likely. I'm not sure where it's going to land yet. So this will go underneath and hinge. Those hinges will probably end up needing some slots in them so that this can engage properly, but we're just going to play it by ear and see what happens. So there's the tongue. Should be making a little more sense now. It's going to go underneath. I'm still working on the hinge. There's not a lot of structure on these cheap trailers. They're just, you know, they're not meant for this. But I don't need the structure for dump or towing. I just need it for dumping. Towing, all the pulling force is going to be right there. So structure at the rear hinge point is minimal. I'm not horribly worried about it, but we'll get her figured out. All right, got my hinge mocked up back there. Just using some 2x2x1/4 on top of the 2x2 angle that's there. We'll run it and see if there's any flex. We'll put some gussets in. Right now, the new tongue is at 3.85 degrees. 4.0. I'll adjust that when I weld the hinge on back there. But we're close. So I'm gonna stitch those ears on. Actually, I gotta see if I can get my welder out here. I may have screwed up. I'm not sure I got the reach, so let's see what happens. Okay, well, we're on to day 2, and we've had, well, the weather changed on us, so I've moved inside. The trailer's not going to get done, but I did a little bit of pickup and clean up, chuck some things. Got my tongue laying there on the floor. Just kind of went into a holding pattern, but I got to thinking about it. I want to put rollers on the back bumper of the trailer so it will roll. I was going to use some casters, but again, what do we got in the shop? So I stumbled across this piece of 2-inch tube, and I'm going to cut it in half. So I'll get 2 rollers about 6 inches long, and I'm going to fill it full of black molly. I'll cut with my hole saw, and we'll just turn around and make it into some rollers. Again, they're not going to spin very often. We'll run some bolts through them, and those will just be the bearings, and they're snug enough fit. I wish I had a hole saw that was a little better fit, but we'll run with what we got. So let my drill bit cool off and the drill, using a little bit of just rubber lube, and cutting those out about 6 inches each roughly. Stuff them in the middle. Should work really good. So we've reinvented the wheel here a little bit, or just revamped. I spent the week doing other things, and originally I wanted just a straight up and down post. We were going to mount the winch on top to tilt the bed, and I was fine with when the bed goes up, it moves away from the post. Problem we're going to run into is as it comes up, the tongue of the trailer is going to run into the back of it. So we're going to change it up. We're going to put a hinge down there and let the post pivot with the bed. I looked on the internet. There's quite a few designed that way, and I was questioning why they were designing it that way. So I came out here and started doing some measuring, and that's what it's looking like. So we're gonna put one of those together. So this is going to get mounted on the trailer. This will be the piece that slides up and down with the dump. And backing up my hinge, and I ran out of wire feed wire. I bought this a while back. It's a small 11-pound roll. It's just kind of a backup, and I wanted to try it out. It looked pretty affordable, so I'll probably let you know after I weld with that a while how I like it. So much for welding outside. Got 30 minutes of sunshine, and now it's hailing. Hey, good morning. I can't even tell you how many times I've told you this, but today's the day we're finishing the dump trailer. The one day we're not supposed to have rain this week. I'm playing hooky, taking a mental health day at work. Actually burning a vacation day. It's Thursday. We're gonna get this thing done. So I'm gonna get it hooked on, pulled up to the front of the garage, and we'll finalize some of the smalls on this thing and show you how it works. All right, so we're at the back of the trailer. I was gonna put the rollers on the back, and then I realized once the tailgate's folded down, I don't think it's gonna clear. So I'm gonna drop the tailgate down. See if I have room. I may have to put them inside the frame rail. All right, got both rollers clamped up inside to clear the tailgate. And I use my speedy square to go up and make sure they both are the same distance. I'm just using the bottom of the tailgate as a reference, but it's level with the frame. So get those stitched in place. Okay, there's a roller. There's a roller. Happy with that. So we're making changes on the fly here. The plan originally was to install the battery there. This pulley ended up going here and taking up the space. Again, had I engineered it, everything would have moved forward. So we're going to put it on the tongue. Yes, the battery's going to lift with the dump, but shouldn't cause any problems. The cables, or the battery cables, aren't really connected to anything anyways, so they're just hanging there. So that's the plan. All right, guys, you're going to see this for the first time with me. The more I do, the more I'm disappointed, honestly. So we'll see what happens. It's just let's go. Okay, well, the battery's not going to work there. It's already rubbing the bracket. And she is lifting hard, guys. Yeah, I know my rollers are on the ground. I don't know. I don't know much about this winch, so. Okay. I'm going to set it down a little bit, pull the battery out of the battery box, and try to run this thing. Not there. I'm glad I just tacked that in place. So, I mean, yes, in theory, it is doing what it's supposed to do. Rollers are on the ground. I mean, a decent amount of dump. Probably work for 90% of what I want to do, and just think I'm going to need a winch with a little more giddy up. Don't know what it's going to do once we get some weight in her. I think it's my winch. I think the winch is just not got the freaking kick. The thing is like 30 years old. Yeah, I guess let's see if we can get it all the way up there. Definitely need to get a remote on the winch and a stouter winch, but we're gonna try that, see what happens. Maybe make some mods this summer. If we don't like the way the single bolt tongue is, we'll put some gussets in, but I just need to get a couple loads of green waste through it and see how it works. So I'm not calling it a win, but it is what it is. It's time to move back on to other stuff. So as you can tell by the title, I am calling this a dump trailer disaster. Not because it's just not going to work, but I'm just not really happy with its results. So maybe after I get a different winch on it, I'll feel better about it. Throw a little paint on it to slow the rust down and put it to work. So I guess in conclusion on the dump trailer, would I do it again? I wouldn't do it the same way again. Will it work? I think it's going to work. I just need, a heavy duty winch. Definitely a remote control on it, which will help when I'm loading the lawnmower. And also just, it makes me nervous with my hand right there winching, and you can tell there's some force on it. The little tingly hairs in the back of the neck. Disaster? Yet to be told. I'm going to try it this summer with some green waste. I think it's going to be really great for loading the lawnmower, because even if I just tilt it like 3 feet, I should be able to drive the lawnmower right up in it, no more scraping the mower deck and stuff. So that's going to be extra handy. Like I said, I'm already using the battery from another project, so it's a pin on and go. But we'll keep doing projects and experimenting. Appreciate those of you that are sticking with me here and that have subscribed. It means a lot. And remember, never use a bolt when a weld will do. You guys have a great week.